Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope everyone is having an incredible day. Now guys, this isn't such a good video today, but I'm actually going to ask some questions on a bit of a mystery form of Mealybug. Now, as anyone who grows cacti and succulents or any other type of indoor exotic houseplant, you are bound to have come across the dreaded Mealybugs. And funny enough, this year I follow a lot of different growers on YouTube and also a lot of friends as well that all grow different types of plants, some cacti and succulents, some orchids, some ferns, some all different types of plants. And the one thing that we've all seemed to have in common this year is we're plagued worse than ever with mealybugs. Now, unfortunately, mealybugs are one of them annoying pests that doesn't matter what you do. You can keep them at bay with, I like to use isopropyl alcohol, which is sort of a natural way and a safe way. But also there's times you have to resort to pesticides, and especially the systemics, because there's just no way to get rid of them. And even then, sometimes they just don't work because a lot of these pests have got immune now to most of the insecticides, if not all of them on the market. A lot of the very ones that used to be very effective have all been withdrawn for obvious reasons, for safety and because they're bad for the environment, especially for bees, and we have to think of that. So that's totally understandable. But as I say, we seem to be developing the real problem with mealybugs especially. Now, I have a lot of me and Hans have a lot of cacti and succulents in our polytunnel here, as you can see, and we have a lot in the house as well, as you probably can see in the windows. We grow a lot of plants, and obviously growing cacti and succulents, you're never going to get rid of mealybugs entirely. We've always managed to keep them at bay by picking as many as we can see off, obviously using the rubbing alcohol, the isopropyl alcohol. Seems to work really well. It doesn't get rid of them entirely because, as you see, it's impossible to know where they're hiding, but it seems to keep them at bay as much as possible. But this is one plant, guys, that has a form, and I say a form rather than just normal mealybug, of mealybug. I have never ever, well, I have actually seen it before, but let me just explain a little bit about this plant at the moment. It's definitely a new type of mealybug. Now, there are literally hundreds of different types of mealybug, by the way, so it's silly to say, you know, a typical mealybug. They all come in different sizes, shapes. They're typically oval shaped. They're usually pink, light pink to deep pink when they're squashed. Sounds vile, but they usually are. But there are some that also are sometimes green and grey coloured when they're squashed. And we've come with both of these on our pests, on our plants. These pests, a few different types of mealybugs. Some are much larger than others. But this is one new type of mealybug that I first discovered 2 years ago. And instead of the usual oval shaped mealybugs, these ones are sausage shaped, and they're very, very, very small, and they're long, like a sausage shape. And when you squeeze them, they go like a grey green colour. And obviously I know they're mealybugs because when I photographed them and zoomed up, they are definitely a form of mealybug, but I've never really come across these before, and they are totally indestructible, guys. Nothing kills them. No systemic on the market. I always used to use a brand called Provado, which I don't like to use systemics or insect unless I have to, but there's times when I've had to use it and it's not responded. It's not responded to anything I've used. And unfortunately, the one plant I found this type of mealybug on was 2 years ago, and it's my Echinocactus rubispinus, called the rainbow cactus. It had the most beautiful flowers on it. I'd had it for over 20 years, and these bugs were indestructible. They were right in between the spines, and I also had it on one of my Mammillaria spinosimas. The one had the normal mealybugs, which easily got rid of by thoroughly soaking it with isopropyl alcohol, but the alcohol did not work on these other forms of mealybugs, and unfortunately just wiped the plant out. It was just totally resistant to the alcohol. I even dipped the whole plant upside down in pure alcohol, and it still did not get rid of these bugs. I've never known anything like it. So Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is it's come back again on this plant. I'm glad to say I've thoroughly gone through the whole of the polytunnel with a tooth comb, and other than the odd one or two of the normal pink mealybugs when you squash them, which, you know, are a pest in itself, but they're not too bad. That's the only ones we've really seen. And as I say, usually the isopropyl alcohol works really well on them. But unfortunately, this plant has come down with that horrible, tiny sausage-shaped grey mealybug when you squeeze them, the grey fluid, greeny fluid, and these are the indestructible ones. Now, I've had to take this plant, and it's one I've had for absolutely years. It's probably about 15 years or so, and it is one of the longer stemmed Chamaesyriaces. I have a shorter stem one that I've had, very first one I ever had, and thankfully that's got no signs of bugs, thank God, but this one has, and I've had to take it out the polytunnel. Very, very mild here in Ireland at the moment, so I've actually got it underneath the oil tank there where it's sheltered from the rain. These type of plants can take actually many degrees of frost. It's completely bone dry, and the nights it's forecast very cold weather. I'm going to be putting it here in the boiling cupboard where we keep the boiler, so it's not going to get any frost on it, but during the day it's going to be kept out here away from any of our collection whatsoever. And I have treated it thoroughly with the alcohol. I've also used systemics, and I cannot get rid of this bug whatsoever. I really don't want to throw this plant away. So the thing is, I'm going to be keeping it out to the elements where it's going to get lots of cold, and hopefully it may kill the mealybugs. That's the only thing I can think of. But the reason why I'm doing this video, guys, is, have you ever come across this type of mealybug before? I'm going to overlap now with a couple of photographs that I've taken because I can't get too close. The macro isn't great on this camera. As I say here, here's a few nests where they are, but I'm going to overlap now with a couple of photos. As you can see, they're more sort of a sausagey type of shape than the typical oval shape. And although they look like sort of typical mealies, they're certainly different to the average ones I've ever known. They're just awful, guys. And I just want you to know about it, whether there's a lot of these bugs going around at the moment. They seem to be building a lot of resistance to a lot of the pesticides, and there's not a lot I can really do. This is my last resort. I cannot do any more than what I'm doing with this plant, other than keeping it completely isolated from any of my collection, and me and Hans's collection. As I say, I'm going to be keeping it under the tank during the days, and then just bringing it into the little shed here when it's forecast very minus temperatures. But as I say, these plants can take a lot of cold, and a Chamaesyriaces especially, I'm hoping that might help kill the bugs. But all I know is, if not, I'm going to have to say goodbye to this plant. I have took some cuttings, by the way. I've took a few stem cuttings off it that are completely free of bugs, so I'm propagating them, so the plant will live on. But this is more of an experiment to see if there's anything I can do to naturally eliminate these pests. As I say, I like to try everything, and I'll let you know how the plant gets on. Anyway, a bit of a ramble, and just to let you know that, I mean, there's an example there. There's loads here just show you here. There's a real big bundle of loads of them there. Oh, it's just so horrible. As I say, it seems to be the worst type of mealybug I've ever come across. Certainly a new strain for me and Hans anyway. And hopefully you guys will not be plagued with this evil pest. So guys, I do know that the Pam Mouse Lily will definitely sympathise with me on this, because I know she's been plagued with the mealies as well on her beautiful orchid plants. It seems to be hitting us all this year with this pest. But guys, I want to, by the way, link up to Pam's channel, because it was Pam, I was watching Pam's video and she was talking about the mealybugs, and it gave me the idea. I said I'd do a video on this to say how the problem I've been having with them also. So links up above to Pam's amazing channel, guys. It's Mouse Lily, and she has some absolutely incredible videos on there. Beautiful orchids, and she's very knowledgeable as well. So hi Pam, and guys, please do go over and subscribe. Links up above and down below also. And Pam, I will be doing the tag video that you've tagged me in. I just haven't had a chance yet, but I will be doing that, so stay tuned in the coming week or so. So guys, I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power. As always, from Northern Ireland. Until the next video, guys. Bye.